Good morning. Don't be rude, say it back. My pillowcases I have two silk pillowcases, and throughout the night, they do not stay on my pillow. They're everywhere but on the pillows. I saw a video where the lady safety pins them to the pillow so they don't come off, but I don't want to get stuck in the head with a safety pin. You guys, how's everyone doing? So I want to talk to you guys about something real quick. It's gonna be a loaded morning. It's a loaded morning. It's a self-aware morning. So in 2005, I would be pregnant with my second child, and I start going to therapy. And in therapy, I'm doing therapy and stuff, and I am diagnosed with dysthymia, which is basically dysthymia. They have renamed it since then, but it's basically like high functioning depression, or what they would say was like a low level of depression over a long period of time, but you're functional in it. You're functional. You're not like how some people get depressed and they don't get out of bed. Like, I would get out of bed. I would do things. I would try to make things happen. So it's easy when you see someone working, holding it down, showing up for other people, to not see them as depressed, because we look at depression as you're in the bed, or you're sad, or you're crying all the time, or you're notably like, And I'm not the most like, person. I wasn't allowed to be. And the other markers that it's happened for a long period of time. So I would have been, technically then, I would have been depressed since I was like 5, 6 years old. Based on how was going on in my life, that's where depression kicks in for me. But because of either my personality or how I'm raised or whatever the factors are, I'm functional. I go to school. But when you talk to me, anybody who talks to me, who gets close enough to me, it's in the conversation. I don't feel good about myself. I think I'm bad. Like, it's a lot of this, even as a young girl, like, it's a lot of things. Like, I thought that for a long time I was getting bullied in school because I was a bad girl. I was a bad person, like, who messes with people? You got to be bad, So I just thought I was inherently bad. And I lived that way for a long time, having those types of thoughts about myself. Like, I'm a bad person. I'm evil. I'm not good. While being a good kid, essentially. High functioning. So by the time I'm 24, 25, I'm pregnant. I'm going to therapy. It comes up. And I realize, like, I research everything, you guys. Like, I'm a master researcher. I love researching things. I never researched what they said was wrong with me. I find that to be so interesting. Like, I never researched what these people said. This glare is doing some things. And I'm trying to find the glare list spot. Okay, so it might be this area right here. So it's like, I never researched it. I never researched what they said was wrong with me. Dysthymia, high function depression. I researched it this past weekend, and yesterday I just cried. I cried a lot yesterday. I cried a lot for that little girl that had no one to talk to. I cried a lot for the teenager in me because I had no support system. I cried for the young mom that I was, raising daughters. Raising a whole husband, businesses, everything, while being like really not well. Excuse me, y'all. While being not well. And minimizing how unwell I may have been. Now that I'm 40, 40 just changes everything. 40 makes you so aware. It's just so much spiritual downloads, mental downloads, awarenesses are just being like dropped into my psyche every day. But it feels good because, you know how they say the whole point is to know thyself. I feel like I'm learning and knowing myself in a way that is so beautiful and so transcendent from anything I've gone through. So my tears weren't tears of like, oh, I feel sorry for myself and, oh, what was me? My tears were like, Big mama's here now at 40. And I'm gonna do what I need to do. Meaning I never knew there was a whole when I went to therapy and they diagnosed me with the high functioning depression over a long period of time. I was told I could take medication. I did not want to take medication. I was pregnant when I was diagnosed. So I didn't want to take medication, and then I didn't want a crutch. I didn't trust I didn't trust it to take any medication from these people. I was raised in a religious cult. So medicine, the government, I was not mentally or emotionally prepared to trust taking any substance from the medical complex. That's it. So I wanted to do it without medicine, and the way to do that was cognitive therapy. So cognitive therapy helped take the edge off of my dysthemia. It really helped regulate how I was supposed to be thinking about things, because a lot of it is in my mind, but it comes out. I'm not expressing it like a regular depressing person. Like I lay down, I'm sad. I can be that way, but if you know me, if I get like that, I isolate, so nobody even knows that I'm having a day where I'm in the bed all day. I will isolate, and then in a couple days I'll be back to functioning. So no one won't even know that I just had like a very peak. And then I realized I wasn't even knowing that. I'm thinking I'm just tired. I'm sleepy. No, bitch, you depressed. So I've been dealing with that, and for this past weekend, 4th of July felt like my own liberation, because it's the first time I cried ever, I think, for the fact that I can make a difference in my life. I wasn't crying because I'm so sad. I'm crying because I'm like, now I know how to take care of myself. There's a lot of mental health practitioners that put information out there. There are resources for me. So for me, exercising every day, eating every day, drinking, meaning there's days I don't eat. People don't know that about me because I just don't feel to eat. But I thought it was because I don't feel to eat. I never knew that was a symptom of me getting to that section of like, yo. And then I think also I never claimed it. I think being in the church and the religious cult background gives you this over, like, you feel like, oh, it's just in my mind and my creator will heal me of this. So it's some bullshit. So I haven't been doing the self-care that will be necessary for me to thrive. Like, I wrote a whole children's book. I have a children's book. It is written. It is mapped out. Why have I not completed it? Like, why haven't I taken it to Amazon? Why have I not done the final steps on the illustration? And it's like, I don't even have an answer for that. It's just, it takes a lot, and I'm spending so much energy, I guess. See, my mind was telling me, oh, bullshitting. No, not bullshitting. Resting, taking care of my children. So for me, I'm gonna have to. I realize now I crave. It's funny. I crave a schedule. Like, I'd be daydreaming about having a schedule, right? But then I'll feel resentful of anyone who tries to keep me in certain time restraints, like a job or something. So then I'll take that same attitude I have for like a job, wanting to give me hours, and like feel like I can't do that to myself. Like, that's something I'm doing to myself. Like, the job trying to get me, so I'm gonna get me. Like, it's a whole thing. But now I realize staying hydrated, eating, exercising, creating a wonderful schedule for myself is king. Like, I need to do these things. If I want to be healthy, I need to do these things. So I have to figure this out, and I'm going to figure it out. And I'm happy to figure it out because I feel freer than I've ever felt. I feel more capable. I feel like I know what's wrong. Like, I knew something wasn't right, but like, I go get readings. I do readings on myself. I would have never thought mental health, that deep into mental health. I would have never, I thought it was a spiritual problem. I thought it was this. I thought it was that. I thought, yo, I went and got a reading recently. I need to talk about this. I went and got a reading. I won't say who the practitioner was. I went and got a reading. It was a very good reading because I believe it was the catalyst for this research that I did that allowed me to know what's wrong with me. So, but the reading was scary. It scared the shit out of me. I've never gotten a reading that scared me. When I say I was afraid, I was fucking afraid after this reading. I probably need, I want to do a spiritual commentary on it. I really do want to do a golden response video to it. Golden response to the videos I do. I talk about like things I've gone through as far as in our spiritual community, things I've witnessed, things I've seen, and it's like I don't want to react. I don't want to create drama. But people pay people for readings. People pay people to come to their events, and sometimes these people ain't. They either not what they say they are, or there's so much of what they say they are that they don't realize the impact that they're having. And maybe just like a psychiatrist or a doctor, there's these ethics you follow, so that way when you're having to tell a family that their mother is passed away, it's a certain way you do that. You don't just walk up and be like, hey, she did. You ask certain questions, you have a certain voice tone. And it's funny, when I do my readings, I've done a lot of research over my life about various things. And I did research on like how mental health care practitioners are with their clients. And I adopted some of those ways when I'm talking to people and helping them and doing readings. I adopt some of those ways because I want the person to open up. I want them to feel safe. I want them to know they're safe. You know, all those things. But some of us don't do none of that. And I'm going to save it for the golden response, but let's stay on track. Me being scattered is a byproduct of me having high functioning depression, meaning my mind jumps because it's not at rest, and it doesn't always know how to rest because I don't feel good. So when I'm most scattered is when I probably most need to just chill out and maybe eat something and like literally just chill out. I'm not scattered right now, but it almost happened because just this whole conversation could be like a trigger. So that's what I've been going through. And when I woke up this morning, I felt better than I ever felt even for the last few months, because now I know what I can do. Now I know what's wrong. Before, I knew something was still wrong, but I thought it was like spiritual. I thought maybe somebody put roots on me, mind control, all kinds of stuff. And it's none of that. I'm a high functioning depressive person, and I think I would have been afraid to say that a while ago, but now I'm not afraid to say it or admit to that because I get to help myself. I don't have to be like down and out with it. Clearly, I ain't been down and out with it, so I ain't been sad about it before. It ain't like I'm gonna get sad about it now. If anything, now I feel empowered to know exactly what's going on. And then when I go back to therapy, which I do maintenance therapy, I don't bring up dysthymia. I'm sure they can see it, but I don't bring it up. We talk about other stuff. How do I cope? I talk a lot about relationship stuff, that kind of thing. But now it's like when I go back to get my maintenance therapy, I know that I want to be given resources and treatments, still medication free, for someone who has high functioning depression. It makes me think about the relationships I had in the last few years too, like my behaviors and certain things I was going through. Like I was not well. Do you know what it feels like to be dating someone and know something is wrong and they just want to have sex with you, or they just want to go out to eat? They want to have this whole relationship thing, but you're like going through something. And you're expressing to this person, I don't feel well. Things don't, and they're like, just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. Or family members is like, oh, you're making that up, or you're making it worse than it is. Some of us are high function depressive people. I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing anyone. I'm just saying, if I could be living, let's see, I was diagnosed when I was 25. I have these worksheets that I hope I didn't pull out a dread. I felt like the hair, I think I pulled it, and I felt like a grain of hair was like, okay, so this should be moving. So I need to retwist. That's what's happening. I'm going to figure that out. So it's like Co-Star says today, don't ignore the red flags just because you want to be in love. That's right on time. Because sometimes you want the relationship, you want things, but you ignoring the red flags. And maybe it's not the red flags in that person. What if it's the red flags in you? The last couple of relationships I was in, I wasn't feeling good. And it wasn't about that person, it was me. And I was trying to express that I wasn't feeling good, that I have this issue, that I'm not well. And I don't know if it's because I'm lazy. I'm saying everything but what I was diagnosed all those years ago. So from 25 to almost 40, I didn't even deal with my diagnosis. I didn't do anything that I'm supposed to do as far as to regulate what that is. To the eating every day, hydrating as much as possible, exercise every day to keep the mind flexible and healthy and open. Like there's certain things that just have to be done, and I was doing none of them. So this morning when I wake up, this morning's good morning is fully loaded because I wake up this morning for the first time in a lot of years feeling, I don't want to use the word hopeful because it's bigger than hope. I feel even more possible. I feel even more like, I'm just really grateful that I started doing these videos. I'm really grateful for myself. I'm grateful for the people that I do have around me. I'm grateful for mental health professionals who do their job and they show up for us on the internet, in their websites. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful right now. And I don't feel like I'm alone. Also, a big thing I'm supposed to do is ask for help. I be needing help and I don't ask for it because I feel like I'm going to be judged for being stupid, or people are going to say, well, you're this age, you're that age, you should know this already. You should know how to do that. You should know how to do this. Or people tell me all the time, well, go on YouTube and look at it. But when you're dealing with mental health issues, your brain don't work, like your concentration is off. For me, I'm very hands-on as a learner, so watching someone do something and explain how they're doing it makes me feel like the stupidest person in the world. And then if you're already dealing with mental health issues and now you feel stupid, stupid makes me go off the deep end. I cannot afford to feel stupid. I feel stupid, then somebody got to die. So, but these are things I know about myself. These are things that I accept about how I am and now I accept that, this is going to be, it may be the rest of my life I'm healing this. And that's okay. That's okay. It's for me to heal. I'm for me to heal. I'm my, before I get to a book, before I get to any of the things that I'm creating behind the scenes, I'm creating me. I'm creating a wonderful space of healing and opportunity within myself for me. I'm giving myself compassion, love, understanding. It feels so good. I'm really glad I made the decision to show up for myself every day because I feel like this has been a catalyst for me to like really like grow up in my healing, grow up in my purpose. I've been wanting so much as far as for myself, from life, from my business, Go Energy Management, which is still I pay the taxes on it and everything like that. It's still a real business. I still do readings. I actually still do a lot of things. I just don't do it for the general public and I'm not out there. Hence why I call it my private practice. And with me wanting to take a bigger stance in what I'm doing, I had to get this healing. I don't know if you guys know about the brain science guy, the epigenetics guy. If you know his story, he was in The Secret. He was in that book. He wrote what he had to write. He was in a little movie, everything. And then he said, like, after that, he took a year off. Like, he took some time off because he realized he wasn't living what he was teaching. And similar to me, it's not that I'm not living what I'm teaching. I realize if I'm going to effectively help other people to heal and start their journey to heal and be in their purpose, I have to make sure that there's certain things I deal with for my mental health and my emotional health. And that's what I'm taking the time to do. I thought it would just be moving would be the end of it. Like I'd move, I got my trailer, we're in a hot, nice tropical area, place in America, and that's good. But it's not good. It triggered so much more other healings, so much more other self-awarenesses. And I'm so happy that I have the opportunity to stand up for myself, to be for myself. Because if you're not for yourself, who's going to be for you? I think we forget that. Like the first person in the fight for yourself should be yourself. I fight for myself. I actively be in the battle for myself. I kick ass for me. And now I realize I don't have to kick my ass for me. I don't have to fight me for me. What I can do now for me is love me to the next level. I get to love myself to the next level of my healing. Is that what is it on my arm? It looks like a bunch of bumps, but really it's a scar. It's an old scar. But from this angle, I'm like, what the is that? It's an old scar. So, but that speaks life to it right there. I was like, what is that in life? And I do some research. It's an old scar that needs some attention. Okay, it's an old scar that. So how many of us have old scars that need attention? How many of us have been through things that we don't really give life to power to? We don't really talk about it. We just brush it off. How many of us are, I think they call it spiritual bypassing, where things are wrong, but we're like, I'll just give it to God. Oh, you just have to think positive. Oh, well, your mind state is so negative. Oh, you eat meat, so that makes sense you have that problem. Oh, so yeah, it's going to be a great day. It's good. We're having hurricanes, so we may have to go to a hotel because right now in Florida, and we right off this water, so we may have to go to a hotel to be safe. We'll know in a few hours. It's not raining right now at all. It almost looks like we want to have blue skies, but we do have a storm a brewing and a coming. It was a hurricane. Now it's just a tropical storm. But we got to see what it's going to do in Miami, because that's going to let us know if it picks up momentum and speeds and debris or if it's just going to chill out. So, good morning. Don't be rude. Say it back. Y'all have a good one. Remember, be good to yourself. Be good to those being good to you. Hug yourself today. Be thankful for you in your own life. Be a part of your life, y'all. Be in your life. Be your life. It matters. Before anything else matters, you matter. Remember that. All right, later. I love y'all.